welcome to another installment of Small Community Businesses with Realtor Ashley Closier. I'm here with Amanda Hunter from Wrangler. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me, Ashley.
Absolutely. So why don't we start by you telling me, what does Wrangler encompass?
So Wrangler is my business focusing on composting with earthworms, which is called vermicomposting. So my education is in soil science. I come at that from a soil fertility, soil ecology, soil health interest. So I breed and sell red wiggler worms, which are the most commonly used vermicomposting worm. I sell some of the vermicompost. Sometimes in the summer I brew vermicompost tea, which is tea as in it's brewed, not tea as in you drink it.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And as much as I can, I share what I know to empower other people to be able to vermicompost, to be able to spark interest about sustainability for families and kids. So I get to do that by doing things like day camps, school visits, how-to workshops. I host some here in my shop, and I've also been able to do things like that at the Royal Botanical Gardens in Hamilton I was at this past weekend. I get to do some how-to workshops at the Kitchener Farmers Market on Earth Day this spring. So basically everywhere that I can, I will go and share what I know, either by helping people set up their own vermicomposting or just playing with worms together.
That's fantastic. And how did you get interested in this over time?
Yeah, well, it started out as a hobby many moons ago when I was in my undergrad as a soil science major in Saskatchewan, actually. So I've vermicomposted as a hobby for many years, and of course never really thought that I was going to grow up to be a worm farmer. But during the pandemic, I started to post just on Kijiji worms for sale, and without really trying, and of course priced very differently than I'm able to price it as a business, I kind of couldn't keep up with demand. So I kept sort of scaling up my operations a bit, and then I grew enough to be able to need some space outside of my own home, which started out as a small basement suite, and then as I've grown, and it was when I got a website that I pinned down the business name Wrangler, and I realized how much I have to share in terms of the sort of the why and the how, and my interest and appetite for interacting with people and empowering them to do things that help them feel good about what they're doing in their own lives.
Absolutely, yeah. And you're kind of sparking a kind of a revolution almost, in the sense that you're changing one person at a time with your education, right?
Yeah, well, and I think what I enjoy most is that people that share these values find me and we build each other up, right? And that is what I love about being an entrepreneur and about being able to share something that frankly didn't seem like it was that much of a need in our community. And as I got going, I realized that there's a lot to be shared in what I have. So
absolutely,
yeah.
And in the future, how do you foresee, the business growing?
I would really love to continue to have community engagement. So if I could fill my whole day playing with worms with children, I would do just that.
Yeah.
So if I could visit every classroom in our region, that would be great. Of course, that there are challenges to that right now, in terms of funding and availability, and frankly just our school system's capacity to facilitate something like that. In the meantime, I get to do day camps at community centers, and I do quite a bit of work with the museum and things like that. So yeah,
that's fantastic. Now, so for everyone that's watching, if they are getting excited by this opportunity, which you should, because it's definitely, so important nowadays, how do we get in touch with you and how can we support you?
The best way to find out what I have available is on my website, wormwrangler.org. I'm on Facebook and Instagram. A really helpful way to support all small business is to interact and engage, like, tag, and share on social media with Worm Wrangler Canada. Especially if you've enjoyed my products or services, to give a shout out on social media is always a really helpful way that costs nothing to support all local business. And you will find information about how to get a hold of me on all of those platforms.
Yes, absolutely.
But email or phone is the best way to reach me. Wrangler.org.
Okay, and if you rewatch the video, and if you have any trouble reaching out, just get in touch with me, and I'll make sure that everyone is able to get in touch with you as well.
Yeah.
I see you brought some things to share with us.
Yes.
Which I'd love to see.
Yeah, so this is my finished compost that is a useful soil amendment. So you can put it in your soil, either your houseplants or your garden, and it's soil made from garbage. So this is from my household kitchen waste and some that I am able to use from unsaleable food left over from the farmer's market, actually.
Cool.
And then scavenged cardboard as a carbon source.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so this is just composted organic material, and it has a really active fungal and microbial community. So as much as you're adding organic matter and nutrients to your soil, when you add this, you're inoculating your microbial community with a really healthy, happy community that will help support your soil in functioning and cycling at its best.
That's awesome. And that's, it just, to be able to create that and reuse is just, that's what everybody should strive towards.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
So I have worms. So these are my red wigglers. And they are actually quite resilient, and they are native to Europe. So they do best actually at room temperature, is part of why they do so well inside.
Oh, okay.
And you can compost in as small as like a small Rubbermaid tub, and that makes it pretty accessible for folks who are in cities to be able to have some composting going on. You're not going to be able to compost all of your household food waste,
right? But
if you want to engage with your kids and have some pet worms and see what happens when a banana peel breaks down, you can do that under your kitchen sink in an apartment.
That's incredible. Yes, you don't need a lot of space. You don't need a lot of materials to do this.
Yep. And done well, it shouldn't be smelly and it shouldn't have flies.
Right.
Those things can happen when mistakes happen, and those are telling you that your compost isn't healthy and to make a change.
That's perfect. And that's something that, I'm sure that you can kind of troubleshoot with people to try to figure out what's going on.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Amanda, for being here. I've really enjoyed this, and even our conversations off camera, it's just been wonderful to be here. Thank you so much.
And thank you for the work that you're doing to build our community.
Thank you.
Okay.